Good morning, Mind Crafters. I usually don't say that. I say greetings, Mind Crafters, right? Because it might not be morning wherever you are, but it's morning here. And it's absolutely spectacular. It is such a bluebird of a day. So anyway, my name is Kimberly Quinn, and I am your hostess with the mostest. There's Giovanni, the host with the most. And we are here on this bluebird of a day to discuss the importance of taking a step back. It's just absolutely huge to take a step back. And I also have to tell you, I don't know if you can hear all that. It's really loud out here in the woods. The brook is super loud because even though it's May, it's still not warm. I mean, it's absolutely spectacularly beautiful, but there's still, I think, a lot of runoff from the, it's been a lot of rain and stuff. And also the birds, oh my gosh. They're all over the place. I walked in, this is the lower part of the trail. We're headed for the deep woods. Actually, as soon as we hang up here, G and I are headed deep, deep, deep back there. Because I just feel it today. I just feel it. But the birds, we were greeted by a woodpecker couple. I think they were a couple. Kind of following each other around, making all kinds of racket. And then the blue jays always crack me up in the spring because they're trying to impress their women. And they're diving and squeaking and squawking and like, look at my wingspan. His isn't nearly what mine is. Pick me. I'm way better than that guy, you know? So the blue jays absolutely crack me up. And then behind me, we've got the beaver pond. I'm sure you can see that. And I as in another video I mentioned, and that's still happening. They made a little divot in the dam over there. Because the rain made it too high and they just let it out. They just took care of business. I love that about beavers. Super tenacious work ethic, and they collaborate and take care of each other and their families and everything. That's probably the largest condo. That's the mothership, that big one over there. I found some others back in the other beaver pond. But anyway, so taking a step back, all this talk about beavers and blue jays and woodpeckers. There's also been a lot of salamanders snuggling in this pond right here. Frogs are also getting busy too. And it's all part of what we're talking about, which is taking a step back. Now, granted, I know that, I'm fortunate enough to be able to be out here in the woods, but we can take a step back from any place, anywhere, at any time, any place in the world. And often I think people think about taking a step back when there's a problem. Also important, though, that we're not diminishing that. That is super important. But really, it can be just a sort of stuckness that doesn't have to be negative. Julia Cameron, author of The Artist's Way, I actually didn't even plan to. That just rolled out of me just now. Interesting. Okay. Anyway, Julia Cameron, author of The Artist's Way, talks about writing morning pages, which really works. I remember I was reading her book. I think I was in my 30s and I was just doing all this fun stuff. I was writing one of my books, I think, doing a lot of really fun decoupaging that I sort of inherited that talent from my wonderful grandmother, I think. But anyway, I must have been having some sort of block. And so I was reading her book and talking about the morning pages, and that's also another way to step back because it's like a throwing up. The morning pages, obviously in the morning, but it's like when you right out of the gate, kind of like I write my gratitude journal while immediately. I put the tea on and then it's like I'm right there with it. The morning pages, because you still got your unconscious and your limbic system are still pretty much in full tilt when you first wake up. So if you just kind of throw it up, don't worry about grammar, don't worry about anything making sense, don't worry about completing sentences or anything like that. Just throw it up. And wow, does that help? It helps a lot to get unstuck. So right now, they can be like an artist kind of stuck. It can also be a problem. We're not diminishing that in any way. And also, it's interesting. The universe has been just feeding me a lot of things about problems. And my mastermind club group, it came up in our every other week thing that we had. And then Wayne Dyer's been talking about it. And it's interesting because people are like, oh, I have this problem. Wayne Dyer says it's the best. Think about it this way. to actually be grateful. You know, it's a tough sell when you're in something huge. But the only people the only people without problems are dead. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, the whole idea, and it's super Buddhist to embrace the struggles. I mean, I'm not sure I'd go as far as inviting them like the Buddhists do, but certainly being grateful for the contrast. And that's what I like to call it, the contrast. That's so Abraham Hicks. She talks about the contrast. Because contrast is going to continue to happen. God, the woodpeckers are so loud. Wonderfully loud. The contrast is going to continue to happen in your life all the way through, because the whole point of us being here on this planet is to learn to love ourselves and other people better. That's the main, right there is the theme. That's the final exam. That's the big enchilada, right? And so there are going to be series, is that a word? Series. Anyway, there will be a series of quizzes throughout your entire life, and my entire life, and everybody's entire life, because that's how it goes. So, in my opinion, it's much better to accept that that's going to happen. And say, I'm not going to go so far as to invite it. Just accept that it's going to happen. Like a lasagna noodle. You know, like you're up here, you have just got an award, you got a promotion, you just had a baby, your son or daughter just got married, or you're about to get married, depending on everybody's life stages, and you just celebrate all that good stuff. And then you're going to have, stuff happen. And then to really realize that contrast also, like sometimes we didn't get the promotion, may have even gotten canned. And that's a tough sell to say, well, embrace the contrast and you just lost your job. But in reality, when you look back at it, and you look, because the dots always connect when we look back at them. Oh my gosh, if I wouldn't, like I tell like my students when they take an extra year, and I don't disclose it unless, they're all upset, and why do I need an extra year? I say, you know what? I tell the story about this guy I was dating. He was a year younger than me, dating in college, and we started dating at the end of my first senior year. Then they start to get it. And I ended up staying an extra year for a couple of reasons. I added my psychology major to my pre-med major, and big news, I kind of flagged biochemistry, which was super important at that time. And so I ended up taking an extra year, since we just started dating, so it gave us an extra year with my then boyfriend, now husband of 30 whatever years. I'm not so good with the math. 30 whatever years, and 5 fabulous young adult children. That may not have happened if that thing that had me so upset. I remember sitting on the curb right outside our townhouses, sobbing my guts out when I found out I had to take an extra year. Even though I loved it at St. Mike's, that wasn't it. Just I had a lot of friends graduating. I was disappointed. I felt a huge disappointment no one said it to me, but I felt that I enormously disappointed my dad and stuff. And I just felt like I failed, and all the shame was just like battery acid. I felt like I was swimming in shameful battery acid for a while, just sobbing my guts out. And then, of course, that turned around and healing happened, and I ended up with this amazing guy and had 5 kids with him. So, the contrast, when we look back, the dots connect, in some way or another. So it's important when we have contrast to take a step back. And I don't mean just mentally. If you can get out to a place like this, then that's phenomenal. But again, there's nature everywhere. Even in Manhattan, Central Park is a beautiful place. And I think I haven't been to every single major city. Obviously, that would take like a gazillion lifetimes. Though I'm pretty sure that they've got nature there someplace. And even if it's not nature, take a step back. You need a change of atmosphere. It's not just mental. Like ducking into a restroom is like, especially after a snarky conversation, anything is good to get out of Dodge to regroup. But if you can really get a change of atmosphere, I say it to my students a lot. When you're studying for finals or midterms or whatever it is, or you're writing a paper, and it's actually going pretty well, but then all of a sudden you find yourself stuck and you're reading the same page over and over, and it's this illusion of studying that's making you feel like you're productive, stop. Just stop and go someplace and get away from it and clear your head. If it's like you're on the verge of a breakup and you don't know what to do, or you do know what to do, but it's just too painful to think about, take a step, like you just feel it. You feel like, even if it's a friendship or it's whatever, and you just know that whatever it is, is better for you to not be in it. And you really need to you really need to step out of that stuff because it gives us clarity, and with clarity comes the insight that happens within, right? Because in order to win from within with whatever contrast is going on in your life, we've got to find somewhere to be quiet, even if you're in the middle of Urbania. And so for me, because here's the other side, there's all the contrast and there's the problem solving. And problem solving is just another word for creativity. It's just another type of creativity. So to really open the doors for creative problem solving, we need to limit the stimulation going on around us, or it's not going to be a clear path. Think about it. I'm on a hiking trail right now. If this were all covered with stuff, like I wouldn't be able to, it's the same thing with the mind. Got to clear the way so that the green lights are visible, so you can really see which way to go, and also see the red lights and which way not to go, that sort of thing. And then there's the other side that's not necessarily always contrast. We need to take a step back from. Sometimes we can be wonderfully overwhelmed, and I've got that going on today because I'm working on a incredibly exciting project to be disclosed eventually. I'm going to wait till it all comes together. It might be a while. Hopefully by Christmas. We'll see. Anyway, and I'm wonderfully, because I'm just getting going with it, and it's overwhelming because I'm trying to navigate certain things that I haven't learned it all yet. And so, especially with my fast mind, frustration is quite possibly the most difficult emotion for me to deal with, because I want everything, like I want it to all come together and see the path right now. And so I'm in a situation where I'm actually today, thankfully it's none of the other stuff at this minute, I'm just super wonderfully overwhelmed with excitement. And so I came out to the woods with little G today. Well, we do it every day, but some days, every day unless it's a monsoon. Some days I do a shorter loop than this one. Today, because I need more of a detach. I need more of a step back, more of a distance. We're doing the whole loop because I need to really just, as soon as we hang up here, I wanted to share this with you because it's totally authentic, and that's like what I do. It's just rolling out of me. So I wanted to share this with you in case you have either something you need to problem solve or you have something super exciting that you're getting ready to do or you are doing, just to share it with you. And then after we hang up, I'm gonna just be 100% present with little G and just take a huge step back from my wonderful project I'm excited about, because by the time I get to the other end of the loop, the thing we're doing today is a loop. It's up, and then it's over, then it's spectacular view of Jay Peak, and then it's down again. We are going to walk right through bear territory, but I'm thinking they're sleeping at this time of day, hopefully. Anyway, so that is my plan. So take a step back because you'll feel better. You'll feel better, and you'll have clarity, and more than likely, and you have to take another step back. The clarity will tell you what to do with the green lights and the red lights, which way not to go and which way to go. But we need to get quiet within to listen to that, to see that, to get unblocked if it's an art thing, or to be creative with whatever relationship issue or job issue, and to become less overwhelmed with exciting stuff. All of it needs a step back, clarity, and quiet, and then the answers will come. That's it. This is Kimberly Quinn, exhilarated on this gorgeous day, signing off from the beautiful northern Vermont at the Notch. Have a mindful day.